Hey, it's Ben from SellingGroceries.com, and today I want to take a look at a different type of tool for sellers, and it's called a repricing tool. And just like the name says, what it does is connects to your Amazon account and downloads all your inventory, and then you can set specific rules to decide how and when to either lower or raise your price based on things like the number of competitors, the lowest price. You can set it to so many different rules, and these tools can range from the very simple to the very complex. And I do want to say that this is a more advanced tool, and it's not something when you're starting out with Amazon you really have to concern yourself with, because the fact of the matter is if you have only 10 or 20 or 30 inventory items, you can kind of glance through them and check it on a daily basis. You can log in and see, how am I doing? Am I still the lowest price? How many other competitors have come in? Because it's changing every day. But fast forward to, a few months or a year from now, when you do have 500 to 1,000 inventory items, it becomes a chore to go through and figure out what's the best pricing strategy for all different types of circumstances. And that's why tools like this exist. And that's why I think, even though it's something you're going to be looking at later on, I think it does have it is valuable to take a look today just to kind of see how they work and to think about it for the future. So this one's called Sellery, Sellery, and it's made by the folks at SellerEngine.com, and they're the ones that made Profit Bandit, which is a great scanning tool for the phone. But and I don't want to dig too deep because it is complicated, and this video could go on for an hour just showing you how it works. But I just want to show you the getting started and give you that brief overview to explain how it works. So the first step would be to set the item costs. When you first configure it, there is a free trial. It's going to log you into Amazon. It's going to connect you to web services so that the data can transfer back and forth. It's going to download all your inventory. Okay, and there's just a glimpse at some of the stuff I have for sale right now. And so the first thing you would need to do is to go through and set the item costs on all your inventory. Because at the core of the repricing tool, it has to know what your base cost is so it doesn't go below that, right? Sometimes you may decide, hey, something's getting older and you will take a 5 or a 10% loss, but you still have to know what that loss is. So the first step is to set the item cost. The next step, create or edit a smart list. And the smart lists are here, and basically that says you want to put all your inventory into buckets, right? So you may say my FBA items are going to be in one bucket. Things like media, CDs, DVDs, movies, music, that type of thing is another bucket. Stock count less than 5. In other words, you have all different types of categories where you're gonna might want to apply different pricing rules. So the first step there would be, let me set the different criteria for the different buckets that I want to create rules for, and then I can create a rule for each bucket. And again, this is all going to make a lot more sense the more you learn with Amazon. But just think of it as, at the very basic level, you're selling video games and you're selling groceries, right? So the video games would be one bucket, grocery would be in the other. Because really, you're dealing with different animals, and you don't want to apply the same pricing rules to your groceries and your video games. Generally, you're going to have different rules and strategies for it. Establish a shipping cost. It basically means not only do you have your cost of your items, what you paid for it when you bought it, but you have to establish the shipping costs, and that's what it costs to send it to the FBA warehouse, right? So 40-pound box is going to cost you $10, those types of things. So again, that goes into establishing your base cost. Then you do the set up the pricing rules, and that's where these are the buckets here, and then your pricing rules would be, let's see, we go into settings and pricing rules, where are you? There you are. And you would just hit new. And again, the more I do this, probably the more you're going to look at it and go, oh, this is way too complicated. But basically say new rule. Okay. And so there it is. And then you have, now this guy's kind of covering. I don't want to hide it yet because I want to keep it there and show you. But basically back here, I don't know if I can move that. it's going to say, competition. It gives you different tabs and criteria for, and just to give you the competition as an example, you could say, when there's more than 5 competitors on a product, then I want to drop my price by 10%. Or, it's very basic, but there's all different types of criteria for those pricing strategies, and that's how you would set them up. So set pricing rules, create or edit a pricing rule, preview a pricing rules results. So after you set that rule, then you can go ahead and take a look at how your prices would be adjusted for all your inventory items that match that bucket and that rule, right? And you'll see, okay, I dropped them by 10%. Originally it was $10. Now it's, $9 and $9 or whatever. So that's basically how that works, and then apply that rule to the smart list. And last step is you review your prices, because you don't want to just let this thing rip. You want to set up your buckets, set up your rules, and then look at what it's going to do, kind of preview what's going to happen to your inventory pricing before you then go ahead and tell Amazon that you're ready to go. So that's just a brief glimpse at one of these repricing tools. And again, this is probably one of the more complicated ones because it has a lot more criteria that you can set. So it's a more of a smart repricer. Some of the less expensive ones and the real basic ones are, something as basic as like, hey, if it's been in inventory for more than 3 months, drop it 10% or something like that. But you can't react to one of the many different changing conditions on Amazon. So something like this is pretty valuable. So again, I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of how this repricing tool works to keep in mind. And I hope you like the video, and please do hit the like button if you did. And I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel, where I'm going to be showing you all kinds of tools like this going forward. And don't forget, sign up for the newsletter on my website, www.SellingGroceries.com. You get a free copy of my 60-page ebook all about selling groceries and more on Amazon. Thanks so much for your time today, and I will talk to you in the next video.